Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another Rumour Has It video where we're talking about players linked to the football club this coming transfer window. The summer is going to be a busy one for Newcastle for sure. We need some key positions filled, and defence is definitely high on the agenda. Our defence was a bit leaky last season. A lot of the lads who were brilliant for us the season before got a little bit older, a little bit slower, a little bit more injured in some cases. So the defence is definitely in need of repair and reinforcement. That brings me to this lad we're going to talk about in a minute. A very big name player, but I have some reservations about this, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. Just before we get stuck in, a little reminder, as we always say, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. I'd love you to come and join us. We're over 7,700 subs now, so we're really close to that 8,000 mark. Would love to get there for the season kicking off. So smash that button if you haven't already, guys. Recommend us to family and friends. If they haven't seen us already, we are carving a little path, hopefully, for ourselves in the world of Newcastle United content. It's very heavy with a lot of people, but thank you if you've chosen to watch us, and thank you if you've clicked that button, and there's room for you if you haven't. So yeah, smash whichever one suits you best. It's all free content. If you want to support the channel, there is an option down there too to be a member. You get early access to videos just like this one. So who am I talking about now? Let's pull this lad up without further ado. Matthijs de Ligt, who plays for Bayern Munich. Now, de Ligt has been on the radar for clubs for a long time. He made his name at Ajax. He's part of that great Ajax team. I think Ten Hag was the manager of that team, I think. And he did really well. He looked like he was going to be the next big kind of Dutch centre half. He moved on to Juventus. Didn't quite work out for him. Then he ended up at Bayern Munich, and he's been at Bayern since 2022, as you can see there. So 73 appearances, 5 goals, and 2 assists overall. Now, let's talk about de Ligt's kind of strengths, really, and then we'll look at the stats as well, because when I say the strength, the stats might not illustrate that, but it might have something to do with the fact that Bayern Munich were a little bit leaky themselves last season. But in terms of de Ligt, one of the big things is he's 24. So, he is quite young in terms of his centre-half journey, really. He's kind of in that Sven Botman type bracket, so he has time to hit the peak of his powers. We've already seen some great attributes from him already. His timing of tackles is really good. Great goal line clearance and sniffing out danger, things like that. But he times his tackles really well. He gets around the box quite well to cover the space, close players down, and sniff danger, as I say there, And for a young man, he's played for some huge clubs, and he's definitely got broad shoulders. There's no doubt about that. He's very good in the air. The stats will probably illustrate that as well. He's good on the ball as well. He's got a good touch of calmness about him, and he can find players with some decent passes as well. But I think one of the big issues for de Ligt last season, probably why these stats have taken a bit of a honk and dip, as you can see there, the tackles probably catch your eye straight away. He's only in the 19th percentile on that. And the reason for that is that Bayern Munich may have scored 94 goals last season. Harry Kane scored about 50 out of them, I think. They conceded 45 goals, which is nearly double the amount of goals that Bayer Leverkusen, the inevitable champions, conceded. They've actually conceded more as well than Stuttgart did, Leipzig, and Borussia Dortmund as well, the other top 5 teams. So that explains to you why these stats are a little bit hampered, really. Tackles won and interceptions, you can see, aren't particularly great there either. Blocks aren't good either. If this wasn't de Ligt, you'd be going, what the hell are you talking about this guy for, Chris? Especially for 40 to 45 million quid, which seems to be the going rate for the lad. But when you get to his passes, his pass completion, they're a lot higher. They're in the greens. Progressive passing is quite strong as well. Key passing's a little bit low down for defenders. You don't get a lot of key passings unless you can unlock a bank vault with your eyes shut like Fabian Schär. But passes in the final third, as you can see there, are pretty decent, and progressive carries are good. Shot creation chances, aerials one is kind of thereabouts. Errors, he makes very little errors, and he's dispossessed, quite not many rarities really. He's dispossessed, and recoveries, he's kind of thereabouts as well. But for the wage the lad would command, as you can see there, he's contracted until the end of June 2027. He's on 260 grand a week, and there's no fucking way Newcastle are going to pay that for this kid, not at all. There's a few clubs who will, and I think that using our name is probably just a bit to flush out agents, because it looks very much to me like Manchester United are going to be the club that go for this lad. Now, they've already apparently tested the water with Jared Branthwaite from Everton, who I think will be a real top player. I think Newcastle have been linked in the same breath, but again, it could be for the same reason. But I don't think Everton will budge on 43 million, and neither fucking should they either. That skinny, boise, Mike Ashley-esque twat to Jim Twatcliffe, just trying to lowball people all the time. Same thing he did with Dan Ashworth. He's trying to do it with Branthwaite. I hope Everton dig their heels in and tell him to get fucked and pay the going rate if you want that player, because it's disgraceful the way Sir Jim Twatcliffe is going on. And, he's just vile in so many ways. You know, thinks he's going to rock up to football and start bullying his way into getting players at knockdown prices. Ain't happening, sunshine. Get your head out your arse. It's not going to happen. So maybe De Ligt might be the opposite kind of plan B that they go to if they can't get Branthwaite. You can probably get him for about 43, 44 million quid. I think Bayern Munich are looking forward to recoup from that. And that probably should tell you something as well, really. You know, the Bayern Munich defense has been a little bit patchy, but if they're going to get rid of this kid, I mean, they brought Eric Dyer on loan, for fuck's sake, but they're going to sell this lad. It could be the bank, you know, with FFP and PSR and everything else, but maybe they just don't think he's at that elite level. Now, I'm just not sure where he goes from here, De Ligt. You know, in terms of his radar chart, as you can see there, I mean, Fabian Schär beats him on quite a lot of things, key defensive things, blocks, tackles, clearances. But he doesn't beat him on pass completion and passes and Mark's favorite stat, true tackle, which, you know, sometimes he still has to explain that to me, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think with De Ligt, I'm not sure Newcastle United are even in the ballpark for this player. I think our name is just being used to ramp the price up to get a bid from Chelsea or Manchester United, which is probably more likely where I can see this lad heading in. And I'm not really sure that he's the player for us, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, I would rather have maybe a Diamande or something like that, who's, you know, pace, you know, a bit younger. Maybe he's got a higher ceiling than De Ligt. You know, he's 24 now, and if he's not going to improve any more than he already is he going to get much better? You know, I think, you know, if Newcastle are going to drop big bones on a centre half, maybe we can look for some higher potential than what De Ligt has been showing. But he's still a decent player. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just not sure whether we should drop 43 million quid on the guy. Manchester United and Chelsea will do that, no problem, because that's just generally what they do. But let us know in the comments below what you think about De Ligt. Would you have him as a player? Do you think there's any truth to this rumor, or do you just think it's, like I say, it's just to get the agents to try and get better fees from Manchester United or Chelsea or whoever it may be? But let us know in the comments below what you guys think. We always like to hear from you. And if you haven't already, smash subscribe, come and join us. We're over 7,700 subs, loads of room for more. Help get us to the 8K before the season starts. That's the goal. Have a bell, everyone. Enjoy the Euros, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers. Bye.